Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Abdul?
I'm feeling good.
Good.
Thankful. Grateful.
I'm happy to have you here. It's been a few days planning this. I've always wanted to understand your thought process, how all this came about, Afrofuture, and I must say I'm super happy to have you in the seat right there.
The pleasure's all mine, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Right, tell us a bit of your background, where you were born.
Yeah, my name is Abdul-Karim Abdullah. I'm the CEO, founder of Culture Management Group, Afrofuture Festival. I was born in the Bronx, New York. I'm from the Bronx, but I'm also from Accra, Ghana. I grew up here. I went to school here. I lived in Medina, lived in North Carnation. I went to school. I went to St. Paul's Lutheran. I went to Little Flower Montessori. I went to King of Kings, actually, which is crazy, in Jolu. So I've had like a bit of experience growing up in both America and Ghana. I also went to Syracuse University. I've lived the life.
So at what age is this when you were in Ghana?
I was in Ghana from 95 to 2001.
You lived here quite a bit.
Oh, I lived here. Yeah. I had a life here.
How was it like being in Ghana as compared to living in America? What's the difference?
You know, at the time, I didn't really appreciate it as much as I do now. For so long, when parents told you they're going to bring you back to Ghana, it felt like a punishment. Not only because you're not with your parents, but also because, you just didn't have the amenities that you were used to having in the States here. At least my parents didn't want me to have that experience. I guess that's what I think now. But I think that in their mind, they were just trying to make sure that I had a background that was, familiar to them, that I had experience that was familiar to them, that they can predict, which was very different than what I probably would have had in America. Because, they probably didn't know how to raise an American kid. I was their first kid there. So it was interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting is a good way I'll describe it.
What was the best parts of living in Ghana and as compared to being in America?
I mean, I think there was discipline. I remember when I first got back to the States and hearing a kid talk back to the student, to the teacher, that was so unfamiliar to me. To hear a kid talk back, I think the discipline was great. I think me having that background and going back to the States made me a great student. Although I didn't really apply myself as much as I could have, I felt like I was a great student just because of the background that I had in Ghana. I also had, I guess, empathy, a lot of respect for adults. So those things are qualities that I'm grateful for, that I have here. Not to say that kids in America don't have that, but there's a special focus on that here in Ghana.
Yeah, I agree with you. 100%. Let's talk a bit about Afrofuture. We've seen a huge evolution. It's been at least since 2018, the first one.
2017,
sorry. We've seen the growth. We've seen the immense impact. We've seen how people from different backgrounds, not just Africans, people all over the world, traveling to Ghana, wanting to see Ghana, not just Ghana, wanting to see the continent more because of Afrofuture and its spiral effect online. What was your goal in starting Afrofuture from the beginning? Why did you feel like you had to start something like that?
I think that for my whole life, I've been living in the middle. And when I describe how the middle is really just like, to my parents, I was American, right? I was an American kid. They may call kata, as offensive as it is, right?
Yeah.
But to the kids I went to school with, I was an African kid. And I lived that way for a very long time. And it can get uncomfortable. But it's also something that we could embrace, right? And then around some point in the U.S., a lot of people started talking about cultural appropriation. Women started wearing septum rings, people started wearing dashikis. You could tell that people wanted to learn, wanted to have an understanding of it, but a lot of people turned it negative. And for me, I think there was an opportunity there to educate. My parents have a restaurant in the U.S., one of the first in New York, West African restaurants in New York, open for about 36 years now. And it's been doing well. We've fed heads of states. We've had a pop-up in the Nigerian embassy. We've been all over. We've fed presidents of Ghana, ministers, and things of that nature. So I was always of the culture and of the community because of that restaurant. Everybody was my uncle. Everybody was my aunt.
Yeah.
Like, it was just crazy, right? And I felt like we needed a way to communicate between people in the diaspora and people on the continent. And, you know, I'm also a vet of Dirty December.
Yeah.
I used to be here a lot. We used to party at the old twist, not the new twist. So we used to party. We used to do all of these things. Bella Roma, I've been a part of that experience. But one of the things that I thought was counterproductive was that there were so many amazing people coming into town, and they never really got a chance to sit down and connect. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a problem. I just didn't think it made sense. Like, you know, at the time it was just Facebook. So everybody would see everybody tag, oh, you was in Ghana, we didn't get to link. I thought that was unfortunate. I thought that we can galvanize our energies together, that we can create something dope. Now, I knew Afrofuture would do that. It would create a space for us to be able to see each other in the daytime, at least. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember old Ghana, but people didn't really do anything in the daytime. Mm-hmm. Everybody slept all day and partied all night to the morning, right? It's not much different. But now there are day activities where people can actually see each other, learn about each other, you know, have conversations, connect. And that was the whole goal, right? We wanted to disrupt a little bit. And, you know, at the time, we were trying to find ways to connect people. And we knew that we needed some things that people can have a conversation around, and it would grow. And at the time, we chose food, music, fashion, and art. We thought a combination of those were our culture. Whether you go to an outdooring, it's about the clothes, it's about the food, it's about the art, you know, it's about the experience. The experience is the art, right? And it's definitely about the music. If you go to a naming ceremony, if you go to a wedding, all of those things were a part of our culture in every component of it. It didn't exist in silos. And in our music, there's comedy, there's sorrow, there's, you know, and I wanted to be able to bring out those themes in a space. And, you know, my partner, Kenny, believed in me and believed in the idea. And we brought Edward. Edward believed in the idea. He can visualize it. He could see it. And that was, the rest is history.
Wow. How would you describe what the last, say, 5 years has been for Afrofuture?
You know, I think that one of the things that shouldn't go missed, or that I should mention, is like Afrofuture is such a big team. It's way beyond me. Like, you know, there are a lot of dope women on my team that are doing some amazing things in music, like Khadija, or people who are doing great things in PR in the past, like Danica, or now Ashley, and people who do things in production, like Tiffany, and storytelling, and Co, who has been like a shadow, does our operations. All of these people have contributed in their own ways, but when we started, none of us knew how to throw a festival. At all. We had no experience. I know how to throw parties. I was a promoter, you know.
But on that scale?
On that scale, I just didn't know about it. So when we started, we just had to think about it in terms of a day party with elements of a festival, so that we can visualize what we wanted to create in our head. And, you know, people would ask me, I want to help. And I didn't even know how to hire people because I didn't know what the position was called.
Yeah.
So the 7-year experience was like a learning opportunity for us. I would say it's a master's program because we have to learn politics. We've had to learn aviation. We've had to learn how, you know, planes and work. We've had to learn about tourism, how to tour people, how to get people. We've had to be teachers because there's an education component. It's one thing to just kind of tell black people to come to Africa. It's another thing for them to be prepared to come to Africa. We've had to be lawyers, like, right? We've written contracts, we've reviewed contracts, you know. We've had to be talent managers. We've had to be everything we've had to be in order for us to kind of get to where we've been. So it's been a very big learning experience for me and for my team. And I think that over the past 7 years, we've just gotten better and better. Like, you know, if anybody has been to the festival in 2017 and they just went to 2023, they know that we are not where we started, right? We've graduated. You can feel it in the way we, you know, for the first 5 years, I would be in a dirty shirt. You wouldn't even know it was my festival because I'd be working it. You know, the last 2-3 years, I've been able to kind of like interact with guests, be in the space, and be comfortable that my team is managing the space amazingly.
I love what you've done with Afrofuture. It's been huge.
Thank you.
Years ago, let me say 5, 6, 7 years ago, Africa wasn't what it is today. And Afrofuture has definitely played a huge part of that.
Yeah.
When I look at Afrofuture, I see a platform, like you said, which is actually super huge. It connects everything. It connects the music, the food, and the culture, like you said. What for you, 5 years down the road, has been the biggest impact?
I think that, one, we've been a testament to the talent that we have on the continent. I think that, one of the things that used to irk me was a lot of companies would fly down here and fly out production companies, and there's no need. Look at the work Gorilla's doing, right? There's absolute no need, because you guys are talented. All you need is the resources. I think that we've been able to do that. We've been able to show companies that there is opportunity to trust people on the continent. We've done some of, the biggest Fortune 500 companies and Fortune 50 companies, Fortune 100 companies, first ever activations in Africa. Like Meta, like the YouTubes, like the Twitter when it existed, like Sony Music, like Audio Mac. Audio Mac is like the biggest, most downloaded album in West Africa. Started right here in Ghana, right? Like TuneCore, right? They come last year, they came this year, it came even bigger. We've been able to be that trust broker, that I want to say that bridge for companies to be able to see that there's opportunities here in Ghana, there's opportunities in the rest of Africa, and all we need is investment. I think that we've also been a voice for the creative here. I've seen a lot of people getting their own brand deals outside of Afrofuture. It's tangential to us, and I love that for them. I'm very excited that has come into the market and that people are supporting them. I've seen publications give Ghanaians their first bylines, in the major publications like Teen Vogue, like Glamour, like any of these worldly publications. I've seen African creatives in magazines they probably wouldn't have been in otherwise, right? We've seen people center at Essence. We've seen people center page in Vogue. All of those things were from our efforts and the efforts of others as well. I think that that's great for the ecosystem. But a lot of the work that we have to do is really involves like changing our mindsets and making people understand the bigger goal of connectivity and how our favor in terms of life, in terms of progress, in terms of growth, in terms of success lives in each other. And what we have to do is just kind of like learn how to understand each other.
Yeah.
Create dialogue, appreciate each other as opposed to compete with each other, those kind of things.
Yeah. I read somewhere that there were over 40,000 attendees at Afrofuture.
Which is crazy.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, first I'm annoyed because we didn't even print 41,000 tickets.
How are you annoyed? 41,000?
Because all of them didn't pay. That's the first part I'm annoyed about. But, it's great to for that experience to have happened in that way. People fight ways to beat the system. We definitely gotta do better at our security ways, but I think that it's a testament to what we've created. I mean, my goal is to be able to make the festival free, to make it free for people, and that only happens if we get more partners to come on board and understand the importance of people being able to kind of celebrate what we've created. But I'm very, obviously I'm very proud of my team that we've been able to go in and out. Everybody was safe for the most part, and it happened. So I'm very happy with that as far as numbers. For us to go from 31,000 in 2022 over 2 days to 41,000 is a testament to where we are and what we've come to be. But next year, hopefully, all of them get to pay.
Or not. Or maybe you do get your partners and your sponsors.
Absolutely. Hopefully.
We can just enjoy
right now,
them.
the way DEI is going, I don't know.
Yeah.
People are de-investing in black people, so hopefully we'll be able to make a shift.
When you say people are de-investing in black people, what does that mean for you?
In 2020, George Floyd died and it evaporated around the world. And all of these companies made these promises to black people that they were going to invest, they were going to give people more jobs, more opportunities. And with that, we saw more investment in Africa, and we had seen more, in the past. But right now, the conversation is, painting DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, to be I guess, reverse racism. And because of that, we're seeing whole departments be removed. And that means less people in the rooms advocating for experiences like ours. Less people thinking it's important to invest in experience like ours, right? So maybe less people in the room who can actually affect change or actually evoke some sort of investment in the type of things that we do. So I think that, it's unfortunate, but it doesn't deter us. I think if you look at our list of sponsors this year, it's way less than we've had in the past, but we've been able to exist, and that's because we refuse to allow them to control how we narrate our story.
Exactly.
We have a unique opportunity in this age to tell an African story that's different than the one that was told for us, and the festival wants to continue to do that.
When you are done with the project with Afrofuture and you go back in your home and you look in the mirror, besides how great Afrofuture is, what are some of the challenges that you think it comes with? What would you say are some of the latent issues that you probably didn't think about in creating this, that's created off Afrofuture?
Well, there are a lot of problems, obviously, that the festival creates, right? For people here, a lot of people in Ghana feel that we've inflated prices for them.
Would you say that's true?
No, it's absolutely not true, because we suffer from that as well, right? We are affected by people inflating their prices. We are suffering from planes, airlines inflating their prices, hotels inflating their prices. We don't make any money from that. In fact, the only money we make from the amount of people we bring here is our ticket, the singular ticket, which obviously is not great for our business model. Essentially, Ghana is benefiting heavily from all the people that we're bringing. So if one person comes into Ghana and they spend about $2,600 according to Ghana Tourism, and Afrofuture is only charging about $250 a ticket for a general admission ticket, the rest of that money is going to hotels, is going to the restaurants, the bars, is going to other things, not Afrofuture, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, we want to be able to increase those margins and things that we can recoup from it, but it all depends on governmental policy. I think government has a great policy as far as beyond the return and year of return. I think it was great. I think they did a terrible job in educating people in the community about how this can benefit them, how they can extract benefit from. I think they did a poor job at managing inflation and how people arbitrarily charge for things. In the country, there's no regulation there, so I think people are feeling that.
Yeah.
And they need somebody to blame. Sometimes we are the reason why they blame, but I think that is a double-edged sword. We know that we're doing good work. We know our intentions are good, and we know we want to continue to do better. It's just about continuing to work to advocate for better policies, work to advocate for better negotiation tactics with people, and also it's about building trust, right? A lot of people in Ghana haven't had the best track record with companies. So there's no trust, right? I have to pay up front for everything. I have to make a deposit for everything, subsidize everything, right? Even with the company, sometimes I would do a whole activation and not get paid for a year, and I have to subsidize that because we want to be able to kind of create an experience that's unforgettable. And we've done that over the past 7 years, and we've been through those trials and tribulations, but we understand that because we have a greater goal of being able to create a space where we can know each other, we've had to do that. We've had to take that sacrifice, and I think that sacrifice has made us better people. As far as my team, has made us better as far as organizers and understanding how to kind of navigate the system. And I think any supplier or vendor that works with us, even those that get pissed because we delay paying them or something like that, know that we're the best that they've ever worked with. And I think that is where I draw my joy and happiness from, because we're building relationships, we're building trust with people locally, and hopefully maybe in 10 years the next person who creates the next best thing will have a better experience than I did, and that will make me very, very happy.
You touched on air travel, how expensive. I mean, it's gotten super expensive to come to Ghana as to traveling to any part of the world. People are paying up to $3,000 to come to Ghana.
For economy. which is unfortunate.
Yeah. What can be done about this? In your view, what can be done?
Well, the government should stop taxing the airlines as much as they're taxing them in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's targeted, right? They do it on purpose. And it doesn't make sense. It's counterproductive to the policies of beyond the return. If you want people to come here, stop taxing them. All of the taxes that the hotels are being charged are being, given to the people who are staying in the hotels. So if they can offset that cost to the customer, then it doesn't affect their bottom line. I think it's wrong. I think we need to kind of relook at that and figure out a way to make it better. I mean, the more people that come in here, the more money the country makes. So if you create a barrier, then you only bring in elitist people here, and then it's counterproductive to the whole beyond the return experience, because everybody should be able to get an opportunity to come here, right? There's no reason why somebody in South Africa should say, hey, Abdul, in order to go to Ghana, I need to spend 60,000 rands, but I could send 20,000 rands to go to Dubai. Why? It doesn't make sense, right? I think that we need to look at it from a glass half full thing than a glass half empty. I think we think about instant gratification too much on this, in this side of the country, or this side of the continent, and I think we need to think about the future. I think from our perspective, from 2017 to now, we've always been futuristic. We've always thought that, the benefits are not going to come now, they're going to come later. We want more people to think like that, because that's the only way we're going to progress.
Do you agree when people say Ghana has just become a huge party?
No, I think people just say that because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's good for clicks on the gram, but that's a lie. Yeah, people party. So what? People party in Trinidad. People party in Jamaica for Dream Weekend. People party in Ibiza all year round. It doesn't mean that Ibiza is a big party. There's a lot of great things happening here. People are building factories. People are building farms. People are building schools. Everybody has a business in Ghana. What are you talking about?
Because it kind of has to stop. People like to go to some place that is fun first, and then from there they try and I
don't know about being fun.
They see.
I think it's about being familiar, right? It's about being familiar. They need to be able to see themselves in a space and feel safe.
Exactly.
Some people have never traveled anywhere. There's some people I know that have never left their city, right?
But made it here.
But have come here as their first stamp. That's scary for people. To not go anywhere in your own country. There's people who have never been to California. They live in New York. They've never been to California, but they've come to Ghana in their own country. So what are you talking about? It's become a big party. Yeah, some people are coming here, they're going to party. And so what? Like, what is the... I don't understand the punchline. I think it's something that people say to deter people from just having fun or going to explore, and I think it's just a waste of time. Everybody has become anti because everybody is coming to Ghana. They want to be anti because so they can feel different, and I think it's just kind of productive to the whole message. Ghana, they've gone to Casablanca, they've gone to Zanzibar, South Africa, Nigeria. That is progress. They're seeing themselves in Africa in a way they've never seen themselves before. So to make a statement that whether those people that say it's become the new Miami, I think they should just shut up. I just think
for me, I agree. I feel like people come, see, and then if they're able to come back, then they're like, okay, I did this last time. Let me try and see a different side of the country.
That's exactly.
It has to begin from a certain point.
When people are having the most fun or they enjoy what they're experiencing, they tend to absorb more. That's my philosophy. Personal, I don't know how everybody else feels. But if you look at the amount of people who have decided to get a residency in Ghana, who have decided to invest in Ghana, who have decided to start a small business in Ghana, maybe some of the seamstresses who are now shipping all over the world, I think that is a net positive. Like, those negative comments don't deter me. I actually don't even acknowledge them. This is the first time I've actually acknowledged anything like that, because I just think that it's a waste of time. There's so many people that told us what we were trying to do in 2017 was impossible. Those people are the same people celebrating us now, So one of my friends, actually my team member, Tiffany, told me, don't take anything personal, not even a compliment, right? So as much as I appreciate all the love and all of that stuff. I think that my team and I and the people that have supported us are the people that we continue to engage with. We love feedback, right? We have a survey out right now because that allows us to be better. Constructive criticism, constructive, I think that eventually is going to balance out. Ghana is very new to tourism. People have been going to Jamaica for hundreds of years, been going to Barbados for hundreds of years, Trinidad hundreds of years, right? We just got an independence in 1957. We're brand new. As far as tourism, I think that we've gotten the most visitors since 2019 and beyond. So we need to first go to an extreme, and then there's going to be a balance. Anybody that has understanding is going to be able to understand that that's what's going to happen, right? Right now, we're in our cry. Eventually, we'll get to a place where people can say, you know what, there's a new airport in Tamale. People are going to fly directly to the north. They don't even need to come to our cry. We'll see that, but it takes time. You have to build it. We've seen Ghana in so many in TV shows. Snowfall shot here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So many movies. Everybody's mentioning Ghana because we're in a very good position. And people feel welcome when they come here. So going online to say something that's like a deterrent, to me, is just kind of counterproductive to the work that we do, and doesn't need to be acknowledged at all.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, they're connected to the establishment. Their fathers. This is not even their money. They wouldn't have been able to do this. I've seen people that are connected to governments all around the world do nothing but beach. But this is actually affecting the economy. What's your opinion on this word online?
I mean, I said this online, and I'm going to say it again. We've never collected any money from the governments. If they've given us money, we have a paper trail of it. They bought tickets, they bought an experience, but they didn't. We've never gotten an investment from anyone, actually. In fact, this is my money, my partner's money, and any sponsorship money that we've been able to do. I think a lot of people can't wrap their heads around the fact that we've created something where has been on every world publication, has gone viral several times, and has done well 7 years in a row, right? 7 times in a row, right? People can't wrap their minds around it. And the reason why I don't respond to it is because I'm not going to allow anybody to put their limitations on me. You know what I mean? I think that those are your limitations. Those are not my limitations, right? So we have done something that you should respect and you should appreciate, and we've worked with so many people in doing it. If you talk to any of the vendors that we work with, you would know that this is a very local business. You know what I mean? We've tried our best to do what we do. Yes, we do have people who are affiliated with the government. The government benefits very heavily from the publicity that we get, 100%. But as far as them investing in us, they haven't. We haven't even gotten a tax break. We pay probably more taxes than most businesses in Ghana. We pay taxes on everything we import. We pay taxes on the equipment that we rent. We pay taxes on each individual that comes in. The reason why I know how many people is in there is because that's the number GRA gave me. Right? That's the number that they're going to tax me on, not the number that I sold tickets against.
Yeah.
So that's how I get my numbers. If you want to get my number, go to GRA. All the numbers are there. The reason why I know the numbers of everyone that came in out beyond the tickets is because GRA counted them. They count them every year. They tell us how much, and we pay our taxes, right? So I don't know, and we pay all the insurance for our employees and things of that nature. We do these things because we want to stand testament that you can do it too. You know what I mean? We didn't have government support. We invested our own money. You know what I mean? It would have been nice if they supported. Everywhere around the world, what we're doing and affecting the economy, the amount of money we're bringing into the economy, it would make sense for the government to financially support us. But it's unfortunate we are not yet there at that time where people can understand that. A lot of people look at it from very partisan perspectives, and I'm not affiliated to no party. It just happens to be my partner's father is. And so what? You know what I mean? He's never been to the festival except for one time, which is in 2022. You know what I mean? And I think that is the narrative is just one that is going to get people clicks on Twitter, and I'm not going to dignify them. I was a troll one time on Twitter too. I just don't troll anymore, but I used to troll. I troll better than anybody else. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Yeah, I saw one of your
Yeah, I used to be a troll.
clapbacks.
I mean, I used to have a time on that app. You know what I mean? So, you know, I was one of the original 09 Twitter. So I've been there before. I know what it is to kind of like have that experience, and you know, sometimes let people have a go at it. I don't think that it feeds into the narrative. Also, Twitter's not real life.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the sentiment. And you know, in reality, if it was up to Twitter, we'd have been canceled bad times. You know, but those same people come to the festival. Those same people DM me for tickets, and I don't mind. I continue to give them tickets. Any type of publicity that continues to keep our name afloat, I guess, is a good publicity. But hopefully, that they can understand that we're here for the betterment of this ecosystem and not for the detriment. You know what I mean?
You have been doing this for the last 5 years with Afrofuture. What would you say are some of the challenges on the ground that we could improve as a country, that we should really look at?
I think the number one thing is service. I think people just have a problem with the service. But I also think that, you know, I told somebody at the top of this trip that, you know, time is a construct of white supremacy. And the reason I say that is like, we're just kind of like, you know, obviously we want things to be fast. We're used to things being quick abroad, and you know, people expect that same service here. But this is not abroad. This is Ghana. You know, one, these people are underpaid. These people are not trained, right? You know, if you can clearly see a waiter, and you could just tell that this person hasn't been trained, and they're just there because they can be paid and they're doing their job. There's just a lot of things that we need to create to prop up the service industry. I think that we need a middle class, you know, and that means more jobs that are paying people a dignified wage so that they can afford things. Like, you go to restaurants and the waiter there has never eaten the food that you're eating. Yeah. And the food that you probably order is their monthly salary. So I think that when people think, they should have grace. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that if they don't think, that's why they don't have that much patience. So yes, there's a lot of things to fix. There's a lot of things, opportunities that can be made, you know, to improve Ghana and to create better jobs and better opportunities for people. And I think that's where the focus should be. A lot of people in the private sector have opportunities to create these jobs, create these training programs. Like, we're working on a training program, hopefully one of our brands that we work with, so that we can create a pipeline. You know, we've had the vertical, and I've seen a lot of people start businesses because of our businesses, whether it's hospitality businesses, whether it's new restaurants, whether it's production companies. You know, people have started brand new companies off the back of ours. And I think there's an opportunity for us to create talents, you know, people who can handle a camera, people who can build stage, people who can understand hospitality and the service industry, people who can manage, right? You know what I mean? It's just not somebody that's older, it's somebody who just has an understanding of how to move people in the right direction. Those are opportunities that we're exploring, and create a temp agency of sorts so that we can have people who actually know how to work. You know, I think that's where we need to focus on, that education component, not just like going to school, but really just having the talent of how to manage and service people. Yes, the roads are horrible. Obviously, I think that we need to improve on that to make it easier for people to be able to travel to other places. I think we can, you know, we can figure out the airspace so that people can fly to other parts of Ghana easily and quick in a timely fashion. I think there's an opportunity there for tourism. We should open it up. Everybody doesn't have to wait for December to power all of the events in December. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to be right on top of each other. What else? I think there's just several things that we can do to improve the space. I think we need to speak more as far as everybody who does things in Ghana, for there to be some sort of order, right? Not just slapping things around just cause. You know, one of the best examples I see is Trinidad. I think they're very organized. You know, that's from the outside looking in, as far as how they manage all of those people that come in to Trinidad for Carnival. We could definitely take a page out of that book. You know, in Europe, they had, in London, they had over 200,000 people out there for London Carnival, you know, Nottingham Carnival. We can definitely take a page out of that book to kind of see how we can manage this a little bit more effectively. So all those things, I definitely think the pricing thing and how Ghanaians, what we get for the value of the money, it's just not fair, right? You know what I mean? Like, why should I pay $700 for a hotel in Ghana, you know? Not to say that it's not possible, it's just that the value is not there, right? A $700 hotel in London, when I leave the room, they fluff my pillow again.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? And I'm paying for a hotel here where as soon as I lay on it, the pillow goes flat.
Yeah.
I think that's outrageous. Like, you know what I mean? I think we need to kind of fix the pricing system, even rent. Like, you know, like just a lot of things that we can like improve upon to make the ecosystem a lot better for businesses to thrive, a lot better for people to trust each other, a lot better for people to just kind of enjoy the living experience so that they can be more welcoming. Ghanaians are naturally welcoming. You don't want them to be angry. And like, it just feels like people are just upset. And, you know, the anger is misdirected.
What do you want people to take away from both Afrofuture and from Ghana?
Well, I have different things to say to different people. You know, I think Ghanaians should take away that anything is possible. That if they really put their mind to it and they put the effort behind it and they put in the work, they can do everything that they want right here in Ghana. Because if we can come and do this, anybody can do this, right? That's one. To the people, and then also to them, is just kind of understand that, you know, you need to appreciate other black people and their experiences outside of Ghana. It's not easy. It's not every day people outside of Ghana get to wake up and see another black man that is wealthy, another black man that is on a billboard, that they can see themselves in and see a clear path for them to be able to succeed. And I think that when I think about the diaspora, I think about, you know, continuing to have an open mind and understanding that, you know, is one thing. We've had completely different experiences as far as what it means to be black. And, you know, there needs to be some grace given on both sides for us to be able to take the time to learn each other. I think to everybody that, you know, we're stronger together. We're stronger together. It doesn't matter, you know, if you put us anywhere and around the world and they just stand us next to each other, nobody would know you from Ghana, from Togo, from Senegal, from America, from China. At the end of the day, we're all black. You know, our stories are similar. They align in some places, and we need to do more things that bring us together than things that divide us. And literally, that's what we want to be able to create. I think when people leave the festival, they leave joyous. They leave very happy. They leave with a learning of something. Either they've tried a new food they've never had before, they've listened to an artist they never listened to before, they've bought a fashion piece that they've never had before, they supported a local talent. I think all of those things are very, very important, right? And I've seen what it feels like for people, or at least they've told me their experience, what it feels like once they get back into the U.S., or when they get back to Europe after their first ever experience in Ghana. It's transformative, right? Look at Chance the Rapper, look at Vic Mensa, look at all these people that have come back and what they've said publicly. Look at Ari Lennox, what you said. And I think that people should look at that and look at that as an opportunity to continue to welcome people back. I think that's one great thing that this government has done, but there's still more work to be done, right? To get people to kind of look at themselves and have empathy for each other and really respect that we've had different experiences, but at the core of it, there's a line where we connect, and that's where we need to kind of keep holding on to.
Finally, what is your vision? What should we look out for?
Well, I mean, I'm really excited. We just got a contract with the BAL. We're going to be doing all the events for the Basketball Africa League. This gives us an opportunity to expand our footprint beyond Ghana. You know, we're already in Cote d'Ivoire and South Africa. Now we get to do Cairo, Dakar, Kigali. You know, we get to do more experience in other places. We get to work with more people and build a bridge and build more places for people to go to and experience, you know. And I think that one of the beauties of it is that people are coming with us to these experiences, and they're experiencing Africa on the way, and we get to tell stories in each of these cities and each of these countries. So I'm really looking forward to that opportunity and what that means for the future. Hopefully we can influence more travel within Africa, boost our own tourism sector. We don't have to wait for any of the major companies to come and do that. We, as Africans, can start it up, and hopefully we get more support from Africans to continue to do it.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Abdul, the ruler.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for coming. And if you enjoyed this conversation, share your thoughts on it in the comment section. Thank you very much.